Welcome back. Today, communities across the nation honor the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In the Twin Cities, the day was kicked off with the annual breakfast at the Minneapolis Convention Center, one of the largest events celebrating MLK Day in the nation. Our Audrey Russo was there, learning more about what prompted people to join the celebration today.
Icons such as Martin Luther King Jr. and just celebrating his holiday. And with all the stuff that's going on here in Minnesota, with all the known things, we, don't want to name it too much and give it any light, but just to come in solidarity in a situation like this and just show that we are being united and doing some great things together. So why would I not be here for this?
Just before noon, St. Paul Ordway Center for Performing Arts hosted the 40th One Dream One Minnesota celebration featuring songs, dances, and speakers.
King was 26 when he led the Montgomery bus boycott. He was 35 when he shared his dream that reshaped the nation, and he was only 39 when his life was taken. Yet his voice lives on. To the young people here today, Dr. King is not a relic that you study once a year. He is a guide for exactly the moment you're living in right now.
And tonight, starting at 6:30, a celebration gets underway at the MLK Recreation Center in Minneapolis. That event includes a food drive, speakers, and live entertainment. As the political fight continues over the ongoing ICE operation in Minnesota, many on both sides of the aisle have referenced ICE operations during the Obama administration to make their point. Kent Erdahl spoke to former ICE director under Obama, John Sandweg, to try to make sense of those arguments and better understand what we're seeing now.
This idea that ICE agents and Border Patrol agents would be in Minneapolis, Minnesota, confronting protesters, shipping tear gas at them. We never in a million years had situations. We never let things get so out of control that we'd be sitting there trying to do immigration enforcement operations with huge crowds heckling us. We just wouldn't set up our operations in a way that would ever allow that.
John Sandweg wants to be clear. It's not that they didn't conduct ICE operations in U.S. cities during the Obama administration.
The president was accused of being the deporter-in-chief.
And they did get public and political pushback.
The rise of these sanctuary cities were a direct byproduct of the shift we put on the focus on the criminal justice system.
Republicans have pointed to that shift in the relationship with courts and cities as reason for how ICE is operating now. But Sandweg says it hasn't been an excuse for escalation until now.
Even in cases where there were robust sanctuary policies, when there were violent felons, there would be cooperation. And the ICE agents understood, the supervisors, that we need to respect what the locals need. And if there's certain things they can't cooperate with us on, that's fine. We all have one shared goal: make the country safer, make our local communities safer. You wouldn't see ICE agents out on the street unless we knew exactly who we were going for before we hit the streets. Certainly, we would never publicize those operations in advance. You would never, ever see that due to the risks it posed to the agents and potentially to the public.
He said it's also troubling to see Border Patrol agents now working far beyond the scope of what they've historically been trained for.
Quite clearly, a lot of the stuff I'm seeing on television is not what I think the agency has historically defined as targeted enforcement. The administration likes to talk about these assaults, and I'm sympathetic to that. But I feel like the tactics we're using in announcing these operations, I can't emphasize how bizarre that is.
He says so is the political response, which despite the scenes on the streets, grows more polarized by the day.
Nobody's winning based on what we're seeing here. And I've heard this characterized as you either stand for immigration enforcement or you stand for open borders and, criminal aliens. I just think that's a false choice. I would like to see ICE say, hey, we're not going to back down on our commitment to get bad guys off the street, but we're going to back down on some of these more overt things that are triggering the passions of the people. We're going to take a step towards de-escalation.
Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife will lead a U.S. delegation to the opening ceremony of the 2026 Winter Games in Milan, Italy. This weekend, the White House announced the members of the presidential delegation. Vice President Vance will be joined by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a U.S. ambassador to Italy, and former Olympic gold medalists. The Milan Cortina Winter Games kick off with the opening ceremony on February 6th in Milan. The journey to Cortina just got more real for the U.S. curling team. Yesterday, they got to unbox their new uniforms and winter gear for the Olympic Games.
You get those little goosebumps that this is actually happening, and we're excited to actually get out there and compete and have the whole world watching and cheering us on.
Their sponsor, Columbia, outfitted them with everything from their uniforms to their coats and boots. The mixed doubles team, Corey Dropkin and Corey Tisi, will be leaving this weekend. There are two giants in the sport of women's hockey, USA and Canada. And Abby Murphy is looking to bring gold back from Milan just after Team USA came up short in Beijing. Here's Abby's story from her hometown of Evergreen Park, Illinois.
The next generation of American hockey's best is here.
Positioning by Turnbull, stick, bar down for Abby Murphy.
Abby Murphy is not just lighting the lamp, she's lighting a fire under Team USA.
It's leading up to something new. It's not even like thinking back about what happened in the past. It's what we can do now.
Now is a good time to be Murphy. She's finishing a stellar hockey career at the University of Minnesota, and when she plays the best from other countries, she's just as good.
Goes for a skate, brings it out wide, back door, it's Abby Murphy again.
In 4 exhibition games against arch-rival Canada this year, Murphy had 5 goals.
It's one of my favorite feelings, playing them and just playing for your country is just something different, and it never gets old.
At just 23 years old, she's made her second Olympic team. Now she can skate for revenge against Canada, who won gold over the U.S. 4 years ago in Beijing.
There's almost like a hate in the air that it never goes away. Every single time you play them, something's on the line.
Murphy's put something on the line since her earliest days in Evergreen Park. Her first hockey games were in her basement with her 2 older brothers. Toughness needed to succeed on the ice came early, and so did a love for the sport that has never wavered.
Evergreen Park, Illinois has got a special place in my heart. Mom and Dad just doing everything they can to let us dream and be the kids we are today.
Those dreams will be chased in Milan and will be realized with only one outcome: gold.
You go in there with one goal in mind, and there's really nothing else you can settle for.
Stick with us. More news and weather is coming up after the break.